Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to revamp an old phone case. So this one I got with my phone about a year ago, and it had a pretty peacock design on it, but the image started to wear off and it was just looking really shabby. So I took some alcohol and I just wiped down my case, and that took some of the remaining design off, and then I just sanded it to get rid of the shininess, and now I'm ready to paint it. So I'm going to start off by using some Turner acrylic gouache, and this is available from our sponsor jerrysartorama.com. This is a line of paint that they carry exclusively, and it's designed for pretty much most any surface, and it's designed to bond really well, and it also has a really matte finish, so it's nice when you're trying to paint on something that's glossy. It also, because it kind of gives it some tooth and makes it easy to stick, and it takes other media on top. So if you art journal or you like to do mixed media, like you could go over it with pencil or pastel or other things with no problem. I'm going to mix those two colors together. I just want to make sure that this yellow isn't too bright, and I have a nice opaque paint here. Now the Turner acrylic gouache line is very opaque and matte, so it's perfect for a project like this where you may have a little bit of design still poking through. My big, look how well that covers. My big concern was that I covered everything really well and there wasn't any texture from that design left on my phone case. It was kind of one of those grippy textures, so it almost felt a little rubberized, I'm sure, so you didn't drop your phone. And hey, it was nice while it lasted, but it didn't take long for those little feathers to rub away. So what you want to do is give this a nice coat and then let it dry, and then we'll go on to the next step. The first layer has dried, and I can see it's a little streaky, so if you wanted a solid color, I would go ahead and put another coat on. But I want to put some pattern on there, so I think because I'm going to stencil a pattern on there, I really don't need to put another coat of the yellow because it'll be covered up enough. I'm going to start off in the middle with this kind of nice warm deeper yellow. This is Permanent Yellow Deep. It's nice and thick. I'll link up to all of these paints in the video description. Well, I think I'm going to actually add a little bit of yellow pearl to that because I think it will help thin it and give me a really nice texture. I've had that Permanent Yellow Deep for a while, so I was just on the tail end of it. I'm going to mix that right up in there. You don't want to have too much paint on your sponge because otherwise you could end up going under the stencil. This is just a paper stencil. They're really nice, and I find that if I use them with acrylic and I don't wash them, obviously you don't want to try to wash these because they will disintegrate, they're paper, but if I use them with acrylic and then I just let them dry, every time I use them they become a little bit more durable. So that's what I recommend doing if you have these. I'm just going for a tone on tone, and this actually might give it a little bit of texture, which would kind of make it a little bit more grippy. More a little bit of just the pearl on its own, and then I'm going to go into some pink. This is a pearl pink. And even though it is a pearl, like kind of a metallic luster, it's still going to be fairly matte. So it's got the mica in it, but it's not going to be like glossy. It'll shimmer, but it won't be glossy. Just try not to move your stencil as you go. Oops, I shifted mine a little bit. It can be a little challenging when you've got something that's not perfectly flat. I'm only going to do the stenciling on the face of the case here. I am not going to do it on the edges, but I am going to dab some of this purple paint, this pink paint there, because I think it'll look really nice. I like having like a kind of mottled look, and I like that pink. I think it's going to look real nice with the peacock feather that I plan on putting on here. I haven't decided whether I want to paint it freehand or stencil it. Isn't that pretty? That's just kind of pretty on its own even. You get little bits of shimmer here and there. So when you are holding it, just try to hold it by the top and the bottom, and then you can sponge that around the edges. Gosh, that's just kind of pretty on its own. Kind of don't want to add anything else to it. Maybe I won't. I really like the way that looks. Alright, I'm going to let this dry, And then I will think about what else I want to add to this. Maybe I'll just add a little detail to the stenciling design because I really think that's kind of pretty. I'm not sure if I like it looks like I got a little uneven paint there, so I'm just going to kind of scrape that up. And I think I'll replace my stencil and go over that area because it looked like I had a little bit of a ridge of paint there. There we go. Just gotta be careful not to stick my fingernail in anywhere. And if you mess this up, well, then you'll know that you want to paint the peacock feather on. Oh, there, I think that looks all right. All right, I'm gonna let this dry and then we'll see what we decide afterwards. I really like the design on here, and I think I'm going to accent it with some paint pens. So I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm just going to do some doodling around the design. I chose blue and pink paint pens because I think that they would just be kind of fun, and they would give me just kind of like a nice color palette. And also, I mean, I know this phone case is not going to last forever, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just want to kind of have a fun little phone case that'll, you know, hopefully, you know, last for another year or so. These are the cases that came with the phone, and they're not terribly durable, but I don't like to buy another one while this one is still usable and still good. So I'm trying to be as earth friendly as I can, which means instead of going by and buying something new, trying to fix what I have and make what I have useful for longer. Now, any of these shapes that you have in here, you can repeat. I find like when you have a stencil, it gives you a little bit of like structure, and I think it's a little bit easier to be creative when you have a little bit of a structure like that. And hopefully that's not too shiny and you can see that I've got some little doodling in there. And then I can go in with the pink. I think this is so fun. Well, I'm going to go ahead and doodle the rest of this off camera because I'm sure you know how to doodle, and then we'll come back and see how it turned out. Okay, I finished up my doodle, and I think this is so cute. It was quick and fun, and like I mentioned, I know this case isn't going to last forever, so this is going to give me like a new lease on life, and it will keep it out of the landfill. Maybe it will last until, you know, my next phone, but hey, even if it doesn't, it's going to give me a few more months of a phone case that I can use. So I'm going to use this satin varnish. This is also from Jerry's Artarama. This is the Soho satin varnish. And I'm actually going to just squirt a little bit right on the phone. Make sure you shake it up really well, or stir it up really well. I haven't had any issues with bubbles with this stuff, so shaking it does seem to be fine. Don't use a spray varnish on your plastic phones. I was revamping one of my daughter's phone cases once, and we finished it with a spray sealer, and it was an oil-based spray sealer, and I don't know what it did to the phone, but it, like, everything just kind of wrinkled up on it. It ruined the paint job, and it was so frustrating. So make sure you use like a water-based paint and a water-based sealer for this, and just give it a nice coat or two, and you should be good to go. This was such a fun project. I'll put in some photos here of the case while it's all dry so you can see how it turned out. You can also use a gloss varnish if you prefer, and I hope that you give something like this a try. Oftentimes our phones come with boring cases that we might want to replace, but keep in mind you don't have to. You can revamp it yourself. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go, and check out our sponsor, jerrysartarama.com. Until next time, happy crafting.